Everybody here to your broadcast for the International 2014. We're into the Bubble Brackets Day. It's also known as a Phase 3, where we have to eliminate one more team from the International, and we'll also find out the positioning for all of the teams as well coming into the bracket, the main event in Key Arena. I'm Toby1, joined by Cinderin, Man LGD versus Liquid. It's China versus America here for a little bit, but Liquid, they've really been a surprising team throughout this tournament.
They are one of the top 3 stories of the tournament, I think. I would place them as one of the 3 biggest surprises, in the same category as Alliance not making it to the main event. I guess is a big surprise, and
10 seconds remaining.
I have something else too, which I can't remember. So one of the 2 biggest surprises, let's call it that, because Liquid came from the qualifiers. They managed to go in through the wildcard match at the event. They finished 2nd in the North American qualifier, or in the Americas qualifier, I should say. There were a couple of South American teams. And they got beaten in the finals of that qualifier by Navi US, who have been knocked out of the tournament. So Liquid have been pulling themselves together and have been putting up an amazing performance, in my opinion, at this tournament. I'm very surprised to see any of the qualifier teams actually making it this far. And Liquid, I think, no matter what happens today, I think they can be proud of themselves, considering that they weren't even sure they were going to be playing at the International after the play-in. Yeah. Now that they're this far and so close to the main event. But on the other hand, you can also say if you get knocked out now, it's like you were this close. So it's going to be a big disappointment as well. But
well, the same thing could be said about LGD.
Exactly, I was about to say.
Like LGD were the team which a lot of people like looking at initially when they formed out in China, and they were looking really good. Like they came out with a couple of victories after they were first created, and then it was like, nah, but they'll still never compare to like DK Newbie and the rest of them, and they're trying to fight their way all the way up, and they've done a successful job so far. It was definitely on the cusp of getting all the way through. Obviously, with also the head-to-heads yesterday, it looked a little iffy at one point in their game up against Mouse Sports, but they still managed to hold tight. They managed to get themselves through. For me, man, I hate to almost sound biased in this one, but I'm more happy to see Liquid play in this game, because these guys have been very unique. They've been very different. Koiva has been playing a wonderful series of Dota throughout this entire competition. His Shadow Fiend yesterday, and well, his carry unique heroes, which he gets to run as well. Like, it's just been very different from Liquid. They're a new spice coming into this tournament, which I don't think teams have really known how to 100% deal with.
And I guess you can also say that in line with that, LGD were perhaps expected to actually be in the main event already. I know they went from the Chinese qualifiers, but people were like, should they actually have had a direct invite? Because they were like one of the borderline cases, but there were so many good Chinese teams to invite. So they were kind of the 5th that didn't get directly invited. Of course, I'm talking VG, DK, Newbie, and IG. They got the direct invites from China. And LGD-Gaming pretty much cruised through the qualifiers. They were looking really strong the whole way. So people were thinking, okay, and considering other tournaments they played in than just the TI qualifiers, they were showing some really good form, so a lot of people were expecting them to do well. Now, on the first day of the event, they went 0-4, I think, here. So they actually managed to pull themselves back with, then across the last days, they must have got 8-3, I think. No, they ended on 7-8. So they got 7-4, I guess, right? Yes.
5 seconds remaining.
I think so. Yes, they did. So LGD have definitely been getting back in form. I would agree with you with the game yesterday against Mouse. They looked really shaky, actually, which is what puts me in a position here where maybe I'll give Liquid actually a slight edge to win this matchup. They also have the overall better score from the group stage, or the round robin, I should say, but it's a really close one, I think, and comes down to, it's also a best of 3, which we haven't even talked about yet. This is the first best of 3 of the tournament, so who's better in the longer series?
Man, it's a big question mark we're going to have answered, but let's start to pick apart our draft, man, because they're already getting through that a hell of a lot. So the priority bans from LGD, it's not the Skyraz made until the 2nd set, which is a little bit of a surprise there. Instead, they take out the Tinker. Koiva's Tinker is absolutely amazing, and Lycan, just as a general hero they want to take out, even though they are on the dire side, they're going to remove him. And the Doombringer and Enigma coming out there with the bans from Bulba. So I'm wondering if he's worried that LGD are going to try and play this game a little bit more passively, just hold back and wait it all out kind of style by taking up those heroes. But he also takes out the SD and the Earthshaker, great initiation heroes as well as counter initiation heroes. We already got the Brewmaster Razor and Boga Viper already picked up.
Razor was the first overall pick, and I've mentioned this in previous series that I think this hero gets picked up really early. It's a great hero, and I think he has a decent win rate in the tournament. I actually still didn't find out what it was, so that's on me, but
10 seconds
Luckily,
remaining.
we have our entire panel of stats crew down the
K-pop
side.
Doses, what is the win rate of
5
Razor?
seconds.
He's about to tell you as well.
All right. Excellent. All right, he's looking that up. So the thing about Razor is I look at it as a really great counter pick in a lot of cases where he does exceptionally well against melee heroes. He wins a lot of lanes. But picking him first overall gives some information away that LGD can deal or can use to their advantage. So they pick up the Viper. 43% win rate for Razor, so that was what I expected. Only decent, like actually bad.
I expected better.
Yeah, well,
I expected better.
So the thing is, now LGD are going to pick up the Viper, which is a great hero to play in lane against Razor. One of the few heroes that actually can stand against him and perhaps even win the lane. It's a fairly even matchup, and they get themselves the Invoker, who will probably not want to lane against Razor unless he plays Quasic Sword.
Yeah. They can just switch it up instead. I'm really surprised to see the Visage pickup coming up here. Not because it's an unusual hero for LGD to play, but because we haven't seen much of, if any of him at all throughout the competition. There was a couple of games by Cloud9, but they like using him in combination with the Drone Ranger Aura, which is so OP, and I love the fact they do it. But yeah, to see him now appear, and we go with a Tree Protector as well. There's a lot of like protection power. There's a lot of level 6s sitting there for LGD, and I'm worried their early game potential is just going to be a little bit too weak up against now what is Shadow Shaman, Mirana's, Razor, who can cause some problems early on. Brewmaster, not as much. He's kind of a level 6 kind of guy, but it kind of feels like Team Liquid could be the ones setting the pace for this game.
I actually think the biggest surprise of this draft so far is that Shadow Shaman got through to the 4th pick. I wouldn't have said that a week ago, but judging from how high priority he's been starting to get here at TI4, it's quite surprising he gets picked this late. What I like about the Shadow Shaman pickup here is that if you look at LGD's lineup, they have pretty weak early game. Treyend and Visage is not the best tri-lane duo. That sounded weird. Best support duo to play in the tri-lane, but you can potentially go aggressive tri-lane with this if you're LGD if you want to. It's not out of the question by any means, but they might not want to. Visage is very fragile in the lane, and if you go aggressive, you expose him a lot more. Treyend is pretty good actually, but well, we'll see. The reason I bring it up is that Shadow Shaman is generally not a good aggressive support, but a great defensive one. So if Liquid get away with just having a safe lane and he can pull, he will generally have a higher game impact than a Treyend Protector with a Shadow Shaman, unless the Living Armor gets to play a very big role.
Then again, what role is the Living Armor really meant to play? Like Mass Open was they all take the tower once, and all of a sudden Living Armor is gone. So when Liquid commit to the push, there should be no way for Treyend Protector to really stop that kind of push, unless he's like jumping in with his ultimate and they have a big combination. But you don't see any other combinations. Like I've seen some trees in the competition already, but it's normally in combination with the Lich or something like that. Like someone who synergizes nicely with like the big tree ulti, and then you like get the bounce effect. In this game, it's kind of like you throw the tree ulti out and Viper can slow you, but you're already standing still. I'm just trying to work out like how LGD want to run this one. As a Meteorite, deafening blast damage kind of style. Where is your lockdown directly towards the Brewmaster? Centaur will have to be that now. Kind of almost feels like the Tree Protector just picked up the Living Armor, so Centaur can run a Dire off lane, which really isn't an easy thing to do up against a Shadow Shaman Mirana.
Oh, and there it is.
And I guess
pick. So the problem with Living Armor this game is that you always need to look at the number of damage instances coming out. Like you pointed out, the Master Serpent wards will remove it instantly. You've got a Brewmaster who splits into 3 different units. He will have a lot of attacks to come out really fast to remove the armor. You've got something like Eye of the Storm from Razor, dealing damage at a very short interval. Then you've got a Naga Siren with 3 illusions. Like Living Armor is actually going to, in my opinion, be a pretty weak ability in this game. Maybe apart from in the first 10 minutes when it can make some big plays. But when the levels come up from Liquid, I think it's going to prove to be a pretty inefficient pick in this game. We'll see how useful it's going to be. But I actually, looking over at LGD's picks, I might have to flip-flop a little bit here and say maybe they should actually run an aggressive trial lane, to be honest. Visage, Treyend, and Centaur. Centaur is very hard to kill in the lane already. If you can run this together with Visage, you secure him some farm. And the safe that Liquid will be putting is probably a Razor with Shadow Shaman and a support Mirana. It's hard for LGD here. You don't want to run a melee carry tri-lane into a Razor lane. That's actually really difficult as well. Yeah. Although Centaur, a big part of his damage is actually just from his abilities, not from his attacks. It's still... Well, we'll see what LGD decide to do. Let's have a look at the lineups for now. LGD are heading down towards the bottom lane with at least few of their heroes so far. They might surprise us a little bit here with their laning, it looks like. It's going to be Lin playing on the Viper. He will be joined by DDC's Visage and DD's Treant. In the mid lane, it's going to be Yao on Invoker, and finally top lane, Rabbit on the Centaur. So their solution is we aggressive try on the Viper instead, because he can stand against the Razor.
Yeah, and I'm 100% down with this one. I was actually more worried the fact you're going to run double melee off lane up against what is, or technically, like, it was a triple range. It was a triple range on the bottom with Way2, Bulba, and then TC. It would just be too much for them to try and get in close and do any kind of like high level of damage output. So yeah, through the Liquid lineup, because it is a defensive tri-lane, TC will be the hard carrying Razor. We'll have Way2 and Bulba as the Shadow Shaman as well as the Mirana respectively. That puts into towards the middle lane Koitva, who will be taking up the mid role Naga Siren Bottle Rush first, and that leaves Pegasus Demon, the man who sold to Red Bull, Brewmaster, up on that top lane. He is going to have himself a fun time as well. He's going to be have to be very, very elusive up on that top lane. I say elusive because he's still going head-to-head with a Centaur who can have living armor support. Not straight away, because DD obviously is going to level up Leech Seed, which he actually has. So, yeah, I'm interested to see just how much farm Demon is able to do, and how well he goes head-to-head with the Centaur.
Centaur is generally a good one-on-one hero against melee heroes, since when they start fighting over CS, that's when you get the opening for a hoof stomp, and then you obviously get a favorable trade for you. You'll deal more damage to him than he will to you. With Double Edge, you can finish off the kill on by yourself if you get the opportunity. And looking at this top lane, I want to point out their items. They actually have exactly the same item build. 8 tangos and a salve and a stout shield for both. So I don't think either of them is going to be harassed out of the lane. So it comes down a lot to just regular lane pressure, who has the better mechanic when last hitting. And Brewmaster and Centaur actually match up very evenly in that regard.
Yeah. It's going to be a pretty battle of the beasts up on that top lane. But meanwhile on the bottom lane, that's where your most amount of action should be coming out here, unless someone's able to just do something amazing in that middle lane between Koitva as well as Yao. But we've got TC, Way2 and Bulba, still waiting for some kind of opening here. Coming closer in on Lin is difficult. Actually, look what Lin's building into it. He's actually started up with Nether Toxin as his first ability here, so no poison, no corrosive skin, just deciding to go straight for the bonus damage.
It's the best way to start out when it's a passive lane like this. He knows that they don't want to initiate for now, so he wants to win the last hit battle, and he has secured that so far. He's ahead by a whopping 1 CS against the Razor, so it hasn't actually been that useful so far. But then again, if he didn't have it, maybe he would have had even less farm. So as far as that goes, it looks okay for LGD in the bottom lane. The main concern is the pull is open, and what's going to start happening when Liquid go for the pulls? Will LGD go out and contest it? Will they just be happy to split the experience?
LGD already did once.
Will they be looking for the kills?
DD rotated over when Liquid were looking to do the pull,
and they just split it.
He just took the aggro straight away.
Oh, okay, so the pull never happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The problem is, like, you've still got to get this creep wave to move down into the tree line, and once DD moves himself over to this area, he basically takes the aggro away. So then there's just no joy to be had. So Way2 sexy. He's going to attempt this again right now. I'm interested to see if he can be successful, because the tower is actually pushing in. The Green Wave's pushing in on the tower as well, so he's been successful with the pull, but LGD have to come and contest this. They can't just let him have the free denied experience.
Well, DD might just go and, as I said, be happy to split the experience here with Shadow Shaman. It looks like he will indeed do that. He lost 1 creep of experience since the melee creep died from Liquid, but that's all. He's preventing Way2 from pulling it on if Way2 wanted to try for that. He knows it's not going to happen because the Treant is out there, so he doesn't even try. And because of that, now the creep momentum here in the bottom lane will be pushing towards LGD's side, and if they pull this off smart, they could actually get in a better lane position because of this pull. Now they could if they can end up having the wave stand somewhere up here, and then just hold the equilibrium there by having maybe Treant block the pull in the Radiant Woods at the same time, which is kind of a hard task without having the Nature's Skies available, then it's going to be hard for Liquid to find farm, because once they get up this lane, the Viper can start chasing down, you've got Visage, and you've got Treant. Like, the amount of slow in this lane by LGD is absolutely insane. Arrow off the mark.
Yeah, it's I think this is more of a frustration kind of arrow for Bulba. Like, you talk about the positioning, I'm almost thinking this is, like, I know, like, LGD, if they can still keep control of this area here, then they're going to be good. But if you can get way too sexy to walk around like the tree line around this corner, then you can find yourself in range and you can use Fog of War to get these shackles off, which then combine with the arrows, they combine with a static link, and then you can be searching for the first blood. Because really, what have you got that's going to be stopping these heroes from moving? You've got Grave Chill, you've got Leech Seed, and you've got Poison. All three is slow, so technically, once a shackle begins from way too sexy, as long as he's got enough life points, he can keep that thing full channel duration time. But this is one thing which I'm not so sure is going to work properly here for LGD. The fact they have to literally tank Liquid once they start the initiation.
Well, for now, at least the bottom lane, I would say, is definitely going in LGD's favor there. They've done pretty much half the bottom tier 1 tower's health is now gone. Viper is out farming Razor by about 50%, and their supports are staying tied with the Radiant supports just by tri-laning down here, and they're actually ahead of the Radiant supports. They've been stealing some of the experience and just generally been doing a little bit of a better job on denies, I suppose. The lane I want to talk a little bit about now is mid, because Koikva is actually winning very much against Invoker, which is slightly surprising for me. I would say Invoker versus Naga is not a lane that just has an obvious winner. Naga can pretty much always find farm because of the Riptide, but for him to be 10 CS ahead of Yao in the mid lane who's playing Exort Invoker, I think is pretty remarkable. Top lane is almost dead even, slight lead for the Centaur, which is, I guess, to be expected. It's a close matchup, so it will just by nature be close.
Liquid actually almost lost their pull cam. That was one of those bugged troll berserker things, the healing trolls. It actually got himself stuck there, so it wasn't moving out, but they got rid of it in time, so the camp just respawned back up again. At the same time, LGD planned a nice aggressive observer ward, so they're watching very closely to see where these arrows and way too sexy movement is going to be coming from. But you are right about that middle lane. Like, this kind of needs to, I say there needs to be something done about it, but Yao's got all the space in the world at the moment. But Koikva's returning towards the lane. Now, okay, Koikva, let's actually just talk about him. While everyone's in this stage of slow chip damage on the bottom lane and just farm it up with no kills, what do you think about Koikva as far as his build in this game? Do you go Radiance flat out, or do you try and go for something else like Diffusal and go more of a fighting style build?
He should definitely get Radiance as early as possible, unless it comes at the cost of a lot of map control. So if Liquid can manage to not lose too much, right now they've almost lost their bottom tier 1, which isn't too good for them, but it's still manageable for them for sure. I would say now he's got a Killa bottle. His next item, unless if they start falling behind a lot, should just be flat out straight Radiance. If they struggle and he needs to join the fights, I would say a value pickup like a drum could work. Diffusal, I think, you know, it's a nice item to have against the Treant's living armor, but it's going to delay his...
He's got to be careful right now. That smoke movement coming from way too and Bulba. DD's going to living armor himself up, and the smoke actually broke on way too sexy. He's looking to come in through the rear, and the rest of LGD are going to back up. The arrow will connect on DD, but the living armor is still going to be there. And Liquid don't really have the damage they're searching for, and they don't creep where we're meant to either.
Let's not forget LGD of Stampede.
Oh, good point. We gotta forget about him.
Centaur with the global presence, he's had that for about a minute and a half. And that means if Liquid try to fight, it's not just about the movement speed that LGD can easily disengage. They can deal damage, and they have a 4th slow because of that. So they definitely... I'm actually surprised to see LGD not trying to go for the first blood here. If they can just find way 2 out, they will be able to kill him. And it's actually exactly what's going to happen right now.
They just run it in, the arrow will come in, he stops DDC from throwing AS, but the Sunstrike can hit perfectly from Yao in the middle lane, but TC's sucking out a lot of damage on him, which means the leap down by Bulba, there's no arrow, obviously still on cooldown, but Demon did TP in here to be involved as well. The TC cannot reach Lin to get that 84 bonus damage to go into the retreating Viper. But they do force LGD completely off the lane to get a return kill, but definitely LGD worth it for them.
Easy LGD advantage there. It's not just that they get the first blood in a 1-for-1 trade. I think it's just as important that Demon actually wasted a TP. It's 135 gold out the window for him. It's about half a level that he misses out on top, if not even more. And it means Rabbit gets further ahead in the top lane, which, you know, for both Brewmaster and Centaur have kind of similar item builds in the beginning. You want to... they both want a Blink Dagger. I guess that's what they have in common. Yeah. But Demon has chosen to start out with the Arcane Boots here, so he can use Clap a lot more in the lane. And because of that, his Blink is going to come a lot later than the Centaur, so the counter-initiation possibility from Demon will be delayed by a lot, whereas Rabbit, he's picked up his Blink and he's now immediately moving, and that means the other lanes become a lot more risky for Liquid to be on.
Yeah. This is very, very wise from Liquid. I liked it from Bulba as well. Just that last moment, he knew he only had like maybe 10 seconds of nighttime left, so the restricted vision of LGD. So he tried to give it a shot, and you're right. Rabbit's going to jump this one. He's just smoked it.
Oh, bro! But he still goes in.
He still reaches. Sunstrike double edge. It's a lot of damage, and Koifer attempted to get the ulti off at the last moment, but unable to succeed. In LGD, they take a 2-1 commanding lead so far.
This is exactly what I was looking for from Rabbit. The moment he moved, they know the pressure that the Naga puts on them, so they know that it's the primary target for them to pick up across the map. And I'm expecting Rabbit to go for this as often as possible. When he can see where the real Naga is, it's about bringing her down. The more they delay the Radiance, the better. Because in a late game situation, they just flat out lose the game.
Yep.
Now, it's kind of dangerous to say that after seeing the game against Mousesports yesterday, where I called the same thing, but then Mousesports' late game just really didn't work out, and LGD actually played a great late game after a very poor early game. But I think Liquid, across this tournament, have been better at executing late game than Mousesports. I don't think it's unfair to say that, and with the Naga, it just gets... It's easier to execute a Naga late game than an Anti-Mage Prophet, I would say. Even though AM Prophet in many games is actually not too hard to pull off, then in this game they just don't have the tools to deal with a Naga.
They're coming for a gank up on top lane. Way too and Bulbous smoked up behind the tier 1 tower, and with the creep wave coming under range of the tower, it's very easy to get the first shackles, the follow-up arrow, and the clap. So a simple and quick kill. At the same time, the tier 1 tower in the bottom lane has fallen for Team Liquid.
Liquid should be looking to get some sort of a trade here. Demon still has a split ready, so if LGD want to try to defend top, they could turn it into a team fight here. I'm not expecting Koifer to rotate up there. I think he'll just continue his farming spree here in the mid lane. And maybe LGD again will be looking to find him out. Koifer, however, no, he will rotate. He picked up the Invis rune and is now heading up top. And
I think he's waiting for the defense from LGD to come in.
This could be really, really good for Liquid, actually.
Well, they got a great observer ward behind the tower. They would have seen Lin actually TP in under the cover of smoke. And now Pegasus, he's waiting to run in through the rear. You got DDC as well as Lin. Still out, very obviously out, and that means Song of the Siren pops. Lin, DDC, where's the support? Arrows coming up, and the SMH get all the way through to Lin. The Brewmaster split will go now. Centaur has arrived. He blinked himself down. He's looking for an opening, but way too. He was able to get the Hex off and the Shackles, but the Sunstrike will kill him off. Still, though, they didn't bring down the Viper. Bulbous having to run himself away, leaping away to safety. There's only one little Brewman going to be left in a moment. The arrows come out for the Visage Birds, soak it up, and they get instantly familiar drops on top of Pegasus. The clap will follow up. He's really going down. Rabbit jumps in again. Another great hook stomp from LGD. And DD, the tree only is up. He's actually managed to get level 6 during this, and it actually kills off, well, with the help of Visage's familiars. And that Marana at the back end of the play. So 5-2 LGD. A very quick and effective counter initiation, and they take the tier 1 tower in mid.
That was perfect play from LGD. You couldn't have done anything better there, I think. Yao didn't show up, which he didn't need to, so they get a free tower, like you said. The counter initiation, Treant with the living armor, perfect save. They get the Visage Familiars mid-fight, and they use them to secure the kill on Demon. Centaur with a good initiation there, and I really thought Liquid were able to kill the Viper there with the arrow hitting, but
it looked like they should have as well.
In hindsight, I think they should have just sniped the Visage instantly. They let the arrow go through Visage and go for the Viper. I think Visage is actually the bigger kill because he dies instantly, and then you have the numbers advantage, and when you use the Primal Split, you can always just throw the Viper away and ignore him and go for the others, but they went for the hardest kill, and because of that, they didn't get it. And that gave LGD the turnaround potential, so a really big play for them. They got 2 towers and 3 kill for the trade of absolutely nothing, and that's a 7k gold lead suddenly. I did not think that was going to be that one-sided early on.
I wasn't also subscribing to that kind of one-sided kind of game, man. And it's so heavy now. You got a mech over on the Viper 12 minutes into this game. This was your off-lane Viper who had to deal with a Razor. Has managed to pick that one up. Rabbit has gone like... That was also a hilarious initiation in from Rabbit. He jumped right on top of Way2, and Way2 was really quick on the Hex. Like, really quick on the Hex, but there was really nothing more he could do about it. Because you got this Invoker who's running Hand of Mind as he's already got his staff, his belt, his phase boots, and another 472 gold. Like, it's not taking long. In fact, he's already finished up the level 1 Necrobook. This is like a 13-minute Necrobook, and he's almost halfway through to the second level of the Necrobook. It's a 6.7k net worth Invoker. LGD have everything they want. Blink, mech, and the start of a Necro with a high-level Invoker. And their supports have the high levels too, the level 6s.
They actually have a good lineup to do Roshan as well with the Invoker Forge Spirits and with Viper.
Well, Naga Illusions actually pushed back there for a moment. So this smoke movement that came out from LGD, because the Naga Illusions didn't cleanly walk through, it's flagged it for Liquid, and they're already moving back past their tier 2 tower.
Yeah, good scouting from Koifer there. Actually really fortunate, like you said, they were smoked, but he can still tell that someone is out there from the movement. Unless, you know, you can also look at the map and see, okay, 4 heroes are missing. There's a pretty big chance that LGD are actually smoking up for this. But, you know, they could have also gone Roshan, which...
Top lane, arrow, Lin, he cops a 5-second arrow, but there's nowhere they want to go because they don't know if they're actually fully in the jungle. Like, who else just standing there next to Lin?
Even if he's alone, they wouldn't be able to get that kill. The arrow hit from really far away, so only Pegasus would be able to really catch up, and he would not win a one-on-one against
He would have to commit a Brewmaster split and Mirana.
He still wouldn't kill him.
Actually, because Bulba's got nothing. Like, he wouldn't bring a Starfall damage. He's a level 2 leap and level 2 arrow, and that's all we've got.
4 points in corrosive skin on Lin as well. He's gone for the most defensive build he can.
Ulti, not enough time. Whoever TPs himself out to safety.
And how's Koikfa looking? 900 gold away from the relic. He is rushing the Radiance, so far so good for him. I think that's the one bright side.
They brought friends, man.
For Liquid
They brought friends to the top lane, and this time Pegasus jumps in, gets the climb slow over on Lin, and will commit the Brewmaster as well. Ultimate mass serpent wards even being committed to this. In case of more support, the arrow will come in, but a little bit too late there from Bolton. As well as the shackles, Lin, the meg charge will go. Where's the Emperor heal? The mass serpent wards finally bring him down. Centaurs on the front lines, but they have to back themselves up right now. He's moving himself far enough away that the Blink Dagger can be used.
3 heroes and 2 ultimates, and they barely managed to kill him. That was really close. Living armor, mech, and yeah, because of all that from Liquid, they just opened up the map. They sacrificed Roshan for a kill on the Viper. Easily, again, advantage LGD. And as I was getting at, the one bright point now for Liquid is that Koikfa is getting a lot of farm, and they're going to have to buy time for the Nugget to get up the Radiance now. And then she needs to start controlling the map, but let's see if LGD do better than they did against Mouse Sports with their early pushes. Yesterday they were also looking really good, and then their pushes just turned out very, very wrong. And Mouse actually managed to come back in that game, eventually losing in the end though. But LGD will have to execute better in the early push here, or it's going to be the same story. Just that I think Liquid's lineup will not, under any circumstances, lose this late game.
Yeah. Well. Good luck LGD here for just executing and finishing the job, and then you get everyone's support. Now Relic, he's still 100 gold short here, Koikfa, and I'm wondering if it's even worth him purchasing it, because it means his buyback is not going to be available here. Now Bulba's trying to make the most out of the remaining time of this Observer Ward and try and hit an arrow on DDC. Now the arrow flies a little bit off target, so DDC is still okay. He's also got to resummon his familiars if he wants to. Currently they're in the middle lane, helping to push the tier 2 tower with the 4 spirits of Yao, as well as Lin. And bottom lane, DD's going to go on TC. So looking for the ultimate, and there she goes. Sunstrike, Blink in, Hoof Stomp, Double Edge, and TC easily down. Tree Protector uses that 108 base damage to finish the job on the Razor.
LGD is just playing a really great game, and they're going to get a tier 2 as well for free in the mid lane. Liquid not even interested in defending this, so they'll try to get a trade top, but barely going to scratch the tower here with a few illusions. So LGD again, a kill and an objective for absolutely no trade-off. Liquid can't seem to find a footing in this game.
It's like they want to fight, but LGD are just never giving them the space to do so.
And I think the games where we've seen Naga losing are generally games where Naga loses map control early on, because if she's even on map control or even ahead, she tends to just win the game because she creates so much space on the map. But if you cannot start going out on the map because you've lost all your 6 towers in like 20 minutes and the enemy team is very farmed, it gets a lot harder, since you can only send out your illusions then, and they can get killed off by LGD, or LGD can choose to start pushing some lanes and putting some pressure, so he has to defend with his illusions. And then suddenly it gets a lot harder for Naga to play how she wants. And now, speaking of which, Koikfa,
that's really, really big. Because he just also, like after purchasing up the Relic, he's now flat broke again. There's no buyback, so that's 30 seconds window that LGD can freely take that tier 2 tower on the top lane without having to worry about any kind of Naga sleep.
Yeah, there's no way to push this. So another tower goes the way of LGD. Viper claiming this one. I believe this is, it's a Necro 3 and 2,000 gold on the Invoker. I think Yao is still, oh my god, his net worth is absolutely through the roof.
Yeah, 10,000 already. We're not even 20 minutes in.
What's his GPM? It's 600.
It's ridiculous is what it is, man. It's just ridiculous.
That's absurd.
Now, well, the arrows from Bulba. This time we'll actually be able to connect over on Yao, but aren't they going to follow it up? The Necro units are coming in close, trying to keep Demon back a little bit further. Every time he gets attacked as well, he's not getting that Blink Dagger off. The tier 3 tower is slowly being wheeled away. In fact, it has actually gone down now. They opened up towards the melee ranks, as you know. Yep, They do. They focus really right. Brewmaster jumps in, goes for the split. The center ulti being used to bail out of here. However, Yao has been sent up in towards the air. Koipa's got the choice if he wants to come into it. They're sending more arrows out. Familiar's actually in. Tanks up with the Familiars from down to the ground. Living Armor to try and protect it, taking away the damage. And let's TC! Oh man! Rabbit jumps in perfectly with the Wolf Stomp with the double edge. They've already lost the Shadow Shaman as well as the Razor. And now with the Naga Sleep, it just buys time for LG to breathe, and they come high ground. More arrows to fly out. Yao, it just seems like LG's playing a game of catch with Team Liquid, but they're going to be taking out the range ranks right now. Move to the melee as well without, well, they've still got Mass Serpent Wards when Razor comes up, when Shadow Shaman comes up. That's one nice side, but the downside, their top ranks is already gone.
I don't know what to say about LGD's performance in this game apart from stellar. Like, it's interesting to see a team that does so poorly the first stage just really pull themselves together. And they had a bit of a shaky start yesterday against Mouse, but this game they're at 100%. There's almost no mistakes happening at all. They're making all the right calls. They put the right lanes. They execute their strategy the way they should do. And Liquid, on the other hand, they seem a little nervous, to be honest. They don't seem to have a clear goal in mind with initiating. You saw in the base there of LGD, Paul actually hits a really good arrow on the Invoker, but then they hesitate to go in. And then afterwards, Demon's like, okay, I have to go in, else we just lose the barracks for free. Yeah. And then they end up not using that great setup arrow to actually start off the fight. So that's probably the time when you want to go in. Even though your Naga was dead for another 2 seconds, she will come out and just TP into the fight and be able to assist you. But Liquid are, if they're not nervous, then they're just flat out getting outplayed, which they also are if they're nervous. I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah. Another lane, it's defense time for Liquid.
All I'm thinking right now for LGD is the fact that they can basically fight 5v2 right now, just because their superiority is just so high. So just a couple of heroes left for LGD. We had to finish up the racks here of our Team Liquid. DDC, again, we're playing a game of catch. He catches it yet again, another arrow, but the Team 3 towns being whittled away. It's Necrogunid, Cornspurs, and Familiars, as the Aghanims upgraded Familiars 20 minutes in as well. And Brewmaster jumps in, straight for the split, center ulti again, disengaging out. The tree gets up in towards the air, but they don't care about him going up, because if Liquid comes in close, he just throws his own ulti out. Familiar drop down, keeps the rest of the creep wave out. So again, we've seen a Brewmaster split, and the Razor ultimate being used.
This is a second lane to Rax. Yeah. Like now they use their 2 big teamfight abilities. They can't defend anymore.
Yep.
So I want to say, in all fairness, LGD are now 15,000 gold ahead, and they have an Axe on Visage, so fighting into this line of wall.
Looking to blink in. Possible TC. Perfect. Absolutely perfect from LGD. Now mop up the mid. The wards are there. Brewmaster jumps in, but there's no ultimate available for him. They have to use the Moonlight Shadow to escape. The sentry wards are already down here for LGD, with the Observer Ward up on the high ground. So even though they are outside the base, they have perfect knowledge about what Team Liquid are doing.
The only surprise for me right now from LGD, actually talking about how good their game has been, is that they didn't pick up an Urn. Because when they want to end the game like this, an Urn, with all the kills they've got with the Sunstrike, they would have actually had quite a few Urn charges to go with. But they still have the mech, and they still have Living Armor, so that's really the biggest problem.
At least Bulba's getting his good arrow percentage up. He keeps hitting LGD heroes every single time. Unfortunately, there's just no follow-up for Team Liquid.
And now the Mass Serpent Wards will fall. I think this is go time for LGD. They're going to pump the Necro 3 and move in.
Jump again. Right on top of TC. And Koipa will actually stop the fun here. But TC, he's actually body blocked up. He has to walk all the way around. He's ready to come back up again. The arrow will connect on DDC, but the Meg Charge goes, and LGD basically come back to full life. The Ice Path is also down, which makes it impossible for them to move around. Pegasus, so low on life. The Millie Rax is gone. The Range Rax is gone. I think Hope is gone for Liquid. The only thing which is there, which is going to take a little bit more time for LGD to get through, is the tier 2 tower in the bottom lane. That's the only thing that is stopping LGD from getting a full set of rags and mega creeps without losing a single tower here in the first game of the best of 3.
Yeah, the keyword here is best of 3. It's not over for Liquid just yet. This game is going to be a miraculous comeback should they make it. I even, you know, Naga has made some amazing late game performances, but this is even outside of Naga's reach, I feel, to be able to come back from. But what I think Liquid need to do after this is that, assuming they lose this game, reset. Just don't use too much energy on the lost game, don't get yourselves worked up. In a lot of cases, you will see teams just, in best of 3 series, actually forfeit games at this point, instead of spending time fighting for a hopeless game, so you waste energy and you just get demoralized. Just be like, okay guys, this was an off game, it didn't work, we need to win the next two, forget about it and go next, right? But Liquid are actually fighting for it here. I guess they're holding on to hope because of the Naga, but the longer they fight, and if it just turns out to be absolute futile, I hope for them that they don't carry over into the second game with worse mood and mentality just because they actually fought for this game and drained themselves a little more. Because LGD are happy to finish this game. They're like, hey guys, we're doing great. Let's dump them one more team fight and take the rack, shall we?
Yeah, sounds like a good plan for LGD. The funny thing is too, if their courier moves a little bit more to the side in about 10 seconds, they'll see the fact that Roshan's also got a really quick spawn time. So they can take this town, they can take another Roshan, they can push up high ground, and they play 0 to no risk Dota. That's the potential right now for LGD. So the tier 2 tower's gone, that's the final remaining outer tower for Team Liquid. And LGD, they may not care. In fact, Rabbit and Yao are already on the front lines. The level 3 Necro books are still available for Yao. And Rabbit's going to look for the opening. Yeah. Naga sleep.
Last-ditch effort from Liquid.
That arrow needs to hit on Rabbit straight away, and they turn off at the exact time. Rabbit, he won't go off, but Kuiper getting stunned up. It was very image up with the mass surfboard trap actually over on the Centaur, but he tossed after away. And the Centaur ultimate. Again, we see this from LGD. It's the move in, then the move out, disengage. DD, a little bit short for him. He had to use his ultimate. He's probably going to go down right now. That arrow, as well as Raze, are able to connect. And the Brewmaster ultimate is about to wear off. He has enough time to send Visage up into the air. But they managed to get themselves one kill and committed every single ultimate they had. That's not enough. And the mid tower's already pushed, the mid lane's already pushed through as well.
I'm actually surprised that Trayan doesn't buy back here and they just go high ground. Because with all these big ultimates down for Liquid, they don't stand a chance in a fight. They even have a pipe on Viper now.
It's 25 seconds he's down on the sidelines. It's really not that long. We're only 25 minutes into the game. And Roshan's going to be taken anyway. Tree doesn't really help with that.
Going for Roshan is actually going to allow Liquid to get their ultimates up again. This is going to delay the push so much that Liquid will have a second fighting chance. It's still going to be ridiculously hard.
Yeah.
I'm not expecting Liquid to be able to pull it off, but they get another chance, which I think LGD could have actually chosen not to give them here. Instant buyback from Tree, go on and finish the game. There would be no comeback potential. Let's see, 50 seconds and split. 5 on So's, I have the Storm is ready. Mass Serpent Ward's 30 seconds, Song of the Sirens 30 seconds, and Moonlight Shadow a minute. Unless if LGD just managed to instantly get into the base now, they're going to have the Primal Split again.
Yeah.
And they have a Glyph, so they probably have the ways of
They have an invis room from Rabbit. You want an instant way to get inside the base. This guy's got Blink, Aegis, BKB, 4 stuff, and the invis rune to help him get close and set up. He's just going to nuke whoever he can find straight away. Living Armor will protect him, and he just goes in. And Pegasus, he's the main man that's closer. Shows himself on the front lines, Rabbit sees him, but he's holding back for now. He's going to give a little bit more respect here to Liquid. At the same time, Kuiper's not even here. He's going to TP himself into this. Pipe will pop for LGD, and they come high ground. So the fortification slows it down. Here comes Kuiper, back again. But the Necro units are in pretty deep here as well, giving very good vision deep, and now Centaur. Oh, Kuiper! So quick on the ultimate. Rabbit never got his hook shot off. The arrow comes in, but Rabbit gets a BKB up. He slices Kuiper in two with a bread knife. 4-star back out of the Shadow Shaman wards, and Liv's in a lot of trouble as well. He's backing himself up, but now trouble is gone. Living Armor's back over to him, and he comes into TC. Soul Assumption damage and one base attack. Another jump in, double hoof stomp, but GG called out by Kuiper. DC's out very, very quickly, and Liquid will lose game number 1 here. The best of 3 and be one loss away from being winners of the International 2014. Thoughts, Sind? Thoughts?
LGD seemed like they had a perfect game plan right now, and I wouldn't say they figured Liquid out, because this isn't just a Liquid draft. This is like this tournament draft that I think Liquid are running. This is kind of the metagame that we've seen in a lot of matches, but they just found a really good solution to the safe lane of Liquid and to shut down the Razor. This was the first pick from Liquid, the Razor, and I feel